Welcome to Book
Tim,
Talk Thursday.
Shush, Tim. Tim, I'm trying to get ready for BTT, Book Talk Thursday, and you're humming that. It's been in my week. It's been in my head all. It's been in my head all week, and I'm trying to get ready for Book Talk Thursday. So can we have a little bit of hush, please?
Hush, sorry.
But I tell you what, there's some fantastic takeaways from this book. I particularly like chapter 3, where there are 9 key points of what great teachers do and how you can actually embed that. So really, really nice takeaways.
That looks like a fantastic book.
It is a fantastic book.
My goodness.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Education, a manifesto for change.
Manifesto. Who by?
Oh, Richard Gerver. What's the matter, Tim?
Hang on a second.
Hang on a minute.
Is that who I think it is?
I think it is, Tim.
I think we need to pull over.
I think we do, Tim.
Oh my goodness.
Pull over. Pick him up. It's Tim. Pick him up. All right.
What are the chances?
What are the chances?
Unbelievable. How are we?
You're all right. Lovely to see you. We know the real reason you came was for the Carpool for School badge. You know,
Oh,
you want.
come on, that's so cool. I want one.
Yes.
I have got to have one of those. It'll go next to my Blue Peter badge.
Brilliant. Have you got your seatbelt on?
I have got my seatbelt on.
Because we all know that health and safety never takes a holiday.
Absolutely.
Right.
One click every trip.
Brilliant. So, we've just been reading your book.
Oh, thank you very much.
What's the message?
The message is, let's be constructive, let's be collaborative, let's stop arguing with one another, let's welcome the world in, and let's start talking about the future of education for our children. The important thing for me is I have spent the last 11 years, having left my job as a school primary head teacher, dipping in and out of education, spending my time across a whole range of different fields, and through that period of time thinking to myself, I wish I'd known that when I was a teacher. And what I wanted to do was put down all of those thoughts and all of those experiences so that the teachers who are working so incredibly hard in school every hour of every day to really make a difference for kids have got an opportunity maybe to share some of those thoughts and insights.
Brilliant. And what we'd like to do now on a serious note is just talk about some of our takeaways from the book.
So one of my takeaways, and something I really enjoyed from the book, was the part where you had your empathy on gangs and gang culture. And that made me really reflect. I was just wondering if you could expand on that, because that part in your book really was fantastic. Sure. The thing, just at the outset, the first thing I want to say is an empathy with the young people that get sucked into gangs. In no way am I endorsing gangs as a good thing, positive or constructive. But one of the things I passionately believe about so much of the world we live in is we've got to find the constructive even in the darkest things, right? Even in the darkest elements and areas of our lives. And one of the things that's always struck me about gang culture is the question about, so why do young people, so many vulnerable young people, seek refuge in gang structures? And are there lessons we could learn? And if we could replicate some of those things, those draws, in a constructive, positive and good environment, would that help some of those vulnerable young people? You know, and look, what do gangs offer? Well, they offer refuge. They offer a place where some young people suddenly feel a value of purpose and of use. They are systems where people know what the hierarchy is, they know what the rules are, they know what the expectations are, and they become a place of comfort for some of these young people who don't experience any routine, any love, any regulation in their lives. And I think we have to understand that actually the reason a lot of our young people are drawn into gang culture is because those things are missing in their daily lives. And maybe if we could assess and understand those issues and find ways to help plug those gaps for young people in a really positive and constructive way, that would be such a powerful thing for our kids. You know, gangs don't have to be bad. I remember as a head teacher saying to my staff, I want to create an environment where our kids want to be in our gang, right? Where there are rules and regulations and systems, and the payoff was if they're prepared to abide by them, then there's all kinds of magic that will occur. But we wanted our
kids to choose to belong to something because they felt it of value, they felt secure and safe, and they felt there was something exciting for them at the end of the day. And so I think there's a lot of generic use in having that conversation, and particularly for those kids in our schools that we know are vulnerable to turning down the wrong side of the lane.
Was keeping that enthusiasm and surround yourself with positive people, because at the end of the day we're all in this educational system to get the best outcomes for young people, and once you've got that at the heart, then and you find joy in what you do, because a lot of people say, oh, I'm not happy. Happiness is not something that you should try and find. It's finding joy in what you do. Don't try and seek approval off anybody, because at the end of the day, if you know what your goal is and your mission, then that shouldn't matter, because we're all in it together, like you're saying, collaborative. And for here, obviously I surround myself with a positive person every day, and we look at page 63 and surrounding yourself with positive people. I'm with Tim every single day, and obviously not listening to the naysayers. And again, we're, as teachers, we're very critical of ourselves, and being in the profession for 10 years now, we're very judgmental of others as well, and I think that does need to stop, because we need to have system leadership as well, where we're supporting other schools and we're helping one another, and obviously the accountability crisis and everything else. It's just,
I think the biggest problem right now is we're in a really difficult time within education. People are under immense pressure. People are under pressure to deliver. There are massive problems with resources. Teachers are physically and mentally shattered. And one of the problems when you are emotionally in a difficult place is you tend to be defensive, and teachers tend to be vulnerable anyway. We're always vulnerable creatures, even in the good times, right? And so we're in this kind of perfect storm. And really what I urge people to do is to remember that even if you're having a bad week, there will be a golden moment, right, where one student smiles at you in a way that says, you know what, that's really, I've got that now, thank you, that's brilliant, or I've moved forward, or you give me a spark or a moment of confidence. And I think sometimes what we need to remember is remind ourselves that that's what gets us out of bed in the morning, and to share those things more with each other, to not treat each other as the enemy, even though we're in a dark and difficult time, but actually to embrace our profession, embrace our professionalism, and support one another. Because actually the truth is, human nature is we always go home on the dark moments, but I bet for most teachers in most days there are far more good moments than bad ones. The problem is we're really bad at dwelling at the rubbish stuff.
Tim, would you like to add anything?
No, I think my key takeaway was the collaboration. You know, that first chapter when you talk about the need for people to be coming together, speaking to each other, just really spoke to me. Your views on Twitter, your views and all that was absolutely spot on. And I felt that it was really speaking to me.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's a really important issue right now, you know, because since I left the job, social media has exploded and become a massive, and let's be honest, potentially incredible collaborative tool, incredible professional learning device, particularly in a time where resources are so stretched and the opportunity for teachers to go out on professional development and training is now somewhat limited. But what we've got to do is be really aware that we use that tool as a constructive tool, and we stop some of the big voices out there who I don't believe are in it for the right reasons, who are deliberately divisive, deliberately disrupting the really positive and constructive conversations. And I've been asked over and over again over the years, how do we ensure that the profession seizes back control? Well, the profession seizes back control by refusing to allow people to divide us. And we don't have to agree with each other all the time. We don't have to constantly go, oh yeah, that's a great idea, no, I think your principles are absolutely the right principles, because that's not what professionalism and development development is all about.
Yeah.
But we do need to make sure we're respectful and constructive and supportive, because I think, you know, the first chapter of the book, one of the motivations for writing the book was the absolute belief that 99% of all the people I've ever met in my career in education, and I've been in and around it for 30 years now, many people I agree with, many people I profoundly disagree with, but the one thing we all have in common is our passion for young people, and we need to use that to bring each other together.